Hey everyone, welcome to The Zest, the official podcast of Orange Coast Magazine. I'm Chelsea Ranieri, and today we're talking about handmade, bold, and unique jewelry and how our passion for creativity and storytelling became a thriving business. From a background in film to building a brand where design and heritage collide, her pieces have been worn by everyone from Lorde to Kourtney Kardashian. Joining us today is the founder of 67 Jewelry, Alexandra Maister. Our mutual friend, Kiana, who I've also had on this podcast, she introduced me to your brand a while ago, and I've just been obsessed with everything that you make since then. Like your necklaces, your earrings, your bracelets, your dog collars, which I want so bad. Everything you make is so cute. And I have a bunch of girlfriends who follow you as well, and they've been so excited for this interview. So thank you so much for doing this.
Oh my gosh, of course. Thank you for that. I love Kiana. She is like an angel. Yeah, she's the best, honestly. She's such a great neighbor to have, like with same studios. It's so great having them right next door.
You guys have I just interviewed Kiefer too from Sad Eyewear. That whole center is so cool.
Yes. So yeah, Kiana was the first one to get in here. And then it was very serendipitous. I found this place on Craigslist, just like a random ad. It was the first time I ever toured a spot. And I was like, oh, I'll just go look at a warehouse. And the second I saw it, I was like, oh, this is perfect. It was very meant to be.
It's so cool in there.
It is totally. So cool. Yeah. It is it's such a great community right here. All of the little units that we have some guys in here that have been here for 20 years. And they're just so nice and warm and accepting. It's a great space. I'm very fortunate to be next to Kiefer as well. It's been fun.
It's definitely so cool. You guys need to have a big event. Okay.
No.
Well, to start, can you tell me a little bit about where you grew up and what your childhood was like?
Yeah. So I grew up here. I grew up in Orange County. I grew up in Newport Beach, and then I spent my later years in Costa Mesa, and then my office is still based here in Costa Mesa. Growing up was great. Honestly, I've had great parents that have always been super supportive of whatever me and my siblings are into and our interests. And so I loved art at a very young age. And I was a musical theater kid, and I took art classes. And so they always pushed me in that direction. And so I went to elementary school in Newport Beach, and then I transferred to an art high school, OSHA. It's in Santa Ana.
No way, you went to OSHA.
Yes. So that was great. And I feel like that really helped me explore the arts even more. It was an amazing experience. I couldn't recommend it more.
Oh my God, that's so cool. I feel like everyone who comes out of OSHA is so successful. I always hear such great success stories out of OSHA.
Yes. It's great. It's structured very, it's interesting. Half of the day is academic, and then the other half of the day is just your art. So you're working on art every single day for about 3 hours. So you do your academic from 7:50 to 1:30. I don't know if it's still like this because I graduated so long ago. But 7:50 in the morning to 1:30, and then from 1:30 to 4:50 is art classes. So you're really in school the whole entire day.
Yeah, that's so cool though that you get to actually hone your craft while you're in high school.
Totally. Yeah, they structure it very much like a college. You had to have a certain GPA to stay in the school. And they were very much, you have to have your grades to a certain GPA. And then you're allowed to work on the arts and be surrounded by these mentors that can really guide you and hone in on whatever your craft is.
Okay, so you went to college for directing. You went to the Art Center College of Design. So were you doing directing in high school, or what made you choose that major?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I was always in the arts. Went to OSHA. I studied there's different conservatories, and so I studied integrated arts, which basically is every type of art that they had to offer in the school. So we had to do acting, singing, writing, dance. It was just a whole genre. And it was if you hate this, you still have to do it, basically, tap dancing. And so we did a documentary film class, and I ended up loving that. And so I remember like I got a little Canon camera, I think in like freshman year, and I would like film my friends and take photos of them. And I always just had like a little film camera, a little digital camera like on me. And I really kind of geared towards film in that way, just filming my friends and having fun. And then I took that more seriously in school, so in high school. And then when I graduated, I ended up wanting to do film full time. And so then I graduated and went to Art Center in Pasadena. And that's when I majored in film. But yeah, Art Center kind of got me into that road of being like, okay, I want to be a filmmaker. I want to do commercial and like fashion film work. That's all I wanted to do.
So cool. And then after you graduated, you spent several years in the film industry. Can you tell me like what your first role out of college was like?
I was freelancing a little bit when I was still in college. So I was doing like BTS type videos for like magazines, which was fun. So they would like set up a photo shoot with talent, which was usually like a celebrity or a model. And so I would be in the background just like filming the talent and trying to make like my own little cool like edit and cut without it looking like it's a photo shoot. So that was really tricky and fun to do. And I did a couple of those, mostly fashion. And then I ended up getting a Skechers commercial, which was really fun. And I worked on that. And that was a very different experience altogether, which was awesome. And then I worked for a couple other magazines, but mostly in the fashion world is kind of what I ended up doing for a couple years. But then when I graduated, it was COVID was kind of a couple months after that. Yeah. So I graduated, I want to say like 2019. And so I was really fresh out of out of college, like trying to just keep that freelance on a roll. Yeah. And so that kind of went to a little bit of a halt. The film industry like completely stopped during COVID.
And like getting a job out of college regardless is hard. And then adding COVID on top of that. And you're like literally in the film industry that, oh my God, I can't imagine how frustrating that must have felt.
Yeah, it definitely, it does feel frustrating. I think for anyone, you know, when you're applying for jobs, it's just like you're constantly kind of doing this same routine where you're applying and you're getting like, you're not accepted or just like not even a response. And it is very discouraging. So during that time, I try not to let it get to me too much. But yeah, it definitely is hard. I mean, any type of even freelance work, you know, there's some months you're slammed packed. And then there's other months where you're like, okay, I don't know what to do. I have no work. So that was always, it's always interesting navigating that world for sure.
So you were kind of always an entrepreneur then? Doing freelance, like it's like having your own. Yeah. How did did 2020, is that kind of when you came up with the idea for 67 Jewelry, or how did that whole idea come about?
Yeah. So that was, oh my gosh, that was so crazy. So yeah, I basically graduated college. COVID happened. I was looking for work, not really getting anywhere. And I ended up just like starting to sell like my clothes and my roller skates and like little, just on Instagram, like, because everyone wasn't working. And I was like, I need some like money, like for rent and groceries and stuff. So I started doing that. And then slowly I always loved jewelry. And so I always just like collected vintage pieces. And I had a bunch I wasn't wearing at the time. And so I did that on one of my Instagrams. I was just like, I'm just going to throw it on there and like sell it. Yeah. And I did that. And I got like a couple people that I didn't know buying from me on Instagram. And for me, like, I don't have a crazy following or anything. So I was like, oh, like, I wonder if I could do that. And so I that kind of got the wheels spinning a little bit. And I was like, wait, my first, like, maybe I'll like try to do like a first real like vintage drop. And so I went to a couple different pawn shops and I was just buying some pieces. And I ended up doing like a separate vintage drop. And that kind of got more attention from other people that I didn't know. And slowly it started kind of trickling and catching on to like other people and kind of growing this audience, which was so cool.
Yeah. Wait, pawn shops is such a smart. I've never thought to go to a pawn shop for vintage jewelry. That's so smart.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially like vintage pieces, you know, so if you're superstitious, like people won't go to pawn shops, but
Got
for
it.
me, like I'm not like that. I love used pieces. All my stuff is vintage.
Yeah.
So for me, like, you know, I will go into different pawn shops and like thrift stores and kind of just look around estate sales, just trying to get
Yeah.
whatever I can, whatever catches my eye.
So smart. I should mention that you're going to be, we're going to be featuring a piece of your jewelry for our July trend page. And when I was looking at your website, like trying to figure out what piece would fit, you had a vintage bracelet that said Brianna. And I have a friend named Brianna and she purchased it. But I was like, like, how perfect. I was like, what are the odds? Like, that's such a cool piece that you found. It said like her name with like a little star. And I was like, this is so cute.
Yes. Yeah. She purchased it recently. And it's funny. Whenever I get those like name tags, I'm like, I'm going to find like a Brianna, like she'll come eventually. And so I always get so excited when I see those type of people like buying their name on the tags. It's the cutest thing.
So cute. I love that. I know if you ever find a Chelsea, let me know. But
I will.
So I love the story behind the name of your brand. So how did that come together?
So that 67 jewelry, both my parents are born in 1967. So it's an ode to them and as well to like my grandmas on both sides. They're both like have like heavily influenced me on fashion and art. Both my grandmas, they're very artistic. And so I've always just been inspired. And then my late grandma always would like custom design pieces. So I just feel like the whole name was just to honor like my family, especially on both sides. I was like, I love both sides of my parents. Yeah. So I'm like 1967, I was like, great. They're both born on that year. Like that will kind of trickle into like both sides of my family, which was great.
Wait, your grandma created custom jewelry too?
Yes. Just for herself though. Just for herself. Yeah. So we always used to talk about maybe doing like a collection together. And then she passed away. So we never were able to. But I definitely take a lot of inspiration from a lot of like her custom pieces that she has made over the years.
No way. That's such a cool. I love when there's like the generational like tie.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And honestly, like I can always tell, I'll have like the cutest customers come in and I can always tell when their pieces are their grandparents. It's just, you don't get craftsmanship like that anymore.
Right. Wait, that's such a good point. Okay. So how did you come up with the idea, like the star necklace, iconic, like how do you come up with the pieces for jewelry and are you making them yourself?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not making them myself. So I design everything from scratch. And then I work very closely with a couple factories. And so they end up making CADs for me. And then that goes into production. But they're very like small factories. Everything is handmade. I trust them with my life. Like we are like one. But basically, I feel like I get inspiration. I try not to take inspiration from other jewelry pieces, if that makes sense. Like my grandma's like, of course, but like I try to kind of, and I think with any type of artist, you have to kind of train your eye to look at other objects as jewelry pieces. Like, for example, I have a lot of vintage perfume bottles and I'll take like little things from the vintage perfume bottles and be inspired from like my own pieces, or even like my star necklace, like the little like origami star. Like I love the little origami stars. I used to make them all the time when I was a kid. And so I was like, I love just taking things that aren't jewelry pieces and turning them into jewelry. Like for me, that's so special. And with any type of art, like if you can kind of train your eye to look at the world just as inspiration, I think that's when you get the most unique original pieces. And then you're not like copying every other brand that's out there. You know, I think a lot of brands kind of get in their head, or artists in their head with like, oh, is this too similar to like this artist or this piece? But if you're able to just like I just go into like the thrift store and I'll look at belts and be like, oh, I like this like random charm on a belt. I wonder if I could turn that into like a keychain. So I'll do stuff like that. I'm getting inspiration from everything and anything all the time.
Yeah. Wait, did you get the dog collar idea from a belt?
I'm trying to think. Yes. Well, the dog collar idea I got from my keychain. So I have a flower keychain that's similar to the dog collar, the flower dog collar. And then that flower keychain I got from a belt. So it all kind of trickles down. But yes, originally it would be a belt that I got inspired for the dog collar.
Oh my God. That makes so much sense because your pieces do feel so original. Like I've never seen anything like your jewelry elsewhere. So you finding inspiration outside of other jewelry creators, like that makes so much sense to me.
Thank you. Yeah. I always try, like I'll get in like little, like creative ruts where I'm just like not feeling inspired or I don't have like creative juices flowing. And I always try to kind of step outside of my comfort zone and look at other objects in the world and be like, could I use this as inspiration? This like street sign? Like I love like the shape of like this random like window in a house. Like I'll try to kind of train my eye to constantly be thinking about what I could use as designs in like the everyday world.
Yeah. Do you feel like your training at OSHA and like also being in film and stuff really helped that skill?
Yeah, I think so. I've always been like a very heavily visual person, especially in film. Like I wasn't very narrative based. I always could like see the image in my head, what I wanted to create. And then I kind of found a story around that. So I feel like with jewelry, it's been great because it's so visually like it's such a visual like art and craft that I'm constantly, I feel like honestly, my whole entire road as an artist, it's definitely paved the way to like where I am now.
Totally. That makes such sense. Well, what was the first piece that you made?
The very first piece that like really put me on the map was my heart necklace.
Oh, the heart. Yes. Yeah. I wanted to mention, I mentioned this in the intro, but like Olivia Rodrigo and Kourtney Kardashian have worn your jewelry. I think, was Olivia wearing the heart necklace?
So she was wearing a good friend of mine, Brooke Callahan's heart necklace. And Brooke's pieces are great. But then, so in Olivia Rodrigo's music video, I have a friend of mine who's a stylist. She ended up pulling some pieces, and one of the main girls in the video is wearing the star necklace, which is pretty cool. Especially because you never know. Like, I'll get stylists hitting me up, and they'll be like, "Can we grab a couple things for Coachella?" And I might never see a photo of that celebrity or like person ever wearing it. So it's always a gamble when you're giving pieces to stylists for them to use. And so for this music video, I was like, oh yeah, I'll give you some stuff. I figured maybe it'll be like in the background. You won't really see it. And it ended up being like one of the main girlies. Or I think a couple of them were wearing my pieces. But like, some of the main girls in the video wearing 67, and I was like, wow, I love that. And it was such a great video. Like, I always get stoked about that type of stuff.
Wait, what music video was it? Do you remember?
Oh shoot, I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
I'm not a huge
No, I totally get it. Okay, so you have this like perfect balance between like the handmade vintage feel of your pieces and then the modern branding. How do you balance those two when because your marketing is amazing.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I think for me, like the vintage pieces, I'm really specific about the type of like polishing my pieces have. And they all have that kind of worn in look. Like even if it is a high polished, it's not super perfect, if that makes sense. So a lot of my vintage pieces, I oxidize them. So they almost have this like matte, silver finish, which I really like. And now I feel like that's kind of like my brand identity is this like matte kind of finish to all my pieces. But I feel like I'm always inspired by a lot of like my vintage collections I curate as well. And so I am always taking inspiration from a lot of those vintage pieces too, and trying to put them into my designs as well.
Yes. That makes so much. How do you oxidize them? I'm like, can I do that at home?
You can, yes. There's like
oh, really?
you can actually buy it on Amazon. It's pretty gnarly and it smells pretty crazy, but it's basically this whole process where you put like oxidization like in this like liquid bottle, and then you can either like paint it onto your pieces and let it sit there for a little bit, and then you like spin it off. So basically it ends up getting that finish, or you can even like dunk it in really fast and dunk it out and then like wipe it off or polish it off. But it's really hard to do. It's really tricky, and you have to make sure you do it the just right amount.
Yeah. I'll just buy your pieces. That sounds scary. Especially if I like find out something that I have is not actually silver. I'm going to be like, dang it.
Yeah. No, I was trying to explain that the most simple way possible.
Yeah, totally. Well, is there anything that you want to shout out for listeners to keep an eye out for in 2026? This will come out in July.
Okay, July. Yes. Oh my gosh, I have so many fun things. I am doing a collection of necklaces that are specifically for ashes. So a lot of customers now, they use my heart and star necklaces to put ashes inside them because they open. And so I'm going to design kind of an entirely like new collection, maybe like 3 or 4 necklaces that are more just like an everyday, like simple shape. And have it a little bit more secure for ashes and a different type of funnel. And, I've learned so much through this whole process with customers using my necklaces because they never were intended for that. And so I feel like, yeah, I'm really excited about that collection. I think it's going to lean a little bit away from the hearts and the stars. It's just going to be more simple, everyday shapes that maybe necessarily you won't know that there are ashes in there. But I think it's special because a necklace lays on your heart, on your chest, and to just always have that with you, that special person or animal with you is, it's so such beautiful. A special thing. Yeah.
I'm like thinking I have so many friends who are, I'm going to tell this to, who have lost like parents or dogs, or that they would love that.
Yeah. Every time sometimes my customers will send me the ashes too, and I'll do it for them. But it's such a special privilege for me. It's like these pieces have so much more meaning behind these designs that I even intended for them too. So yeah, that whole collection is going to be specifically for ashes and keepsakes, and I'm excited to see how my customers respond to that.
Oh my God, I can't wait. And that'll be released in July?
Maybe after July.
Okay, after July. Okay, cool.
Yeah, maybe like December.
Awesome. Okay. Oh my God, perfect timing for Christmas though.
Yes.
And like holidays. Yeah.
Yeah. I always try to release kind of like my bigger collections at the end of the year, right before holidays. Yeah.
Smart. Okay. Well, we are coming to the end of our time. But before I let you go, I have 3 final questions for you that we call the Thoughtful 3. Okay. So first, what challenges or risks ended up teaching you the most about yourself?
I think for me, my biggest challenge is going full force into 67. When I was freelancing, like even when I first started this brand, I would still do freelance jobs on the side. And it's so scary making that jump into, okay, I'm fully believing in myself. I am going to fully support myself with this and just see what happens. And if I fail, I fail and it's fine. And I'll go back to doing odd jobs or freelance or film or whatever that is. And so for me, I think that was the biggest risk I took. I remember calling my mom and being like, do you think I should just like fully do this and just see what happens? And she was like, 100%. You can always go back to doing what you were doing before. And so for me, it's paid off.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That would be really, I can imagine how scary that must be. That's so great that your mom was so encouraging.
Oh yeah. Both my parents, I'm so fortunate. They're so encouraging and supportive of me.
I love that. Okay. Well, what rituals or routines have helped you become successful?
I think for me, it's constantly exploring that kind of my creative juices, like how I was telling you, how I'll constantly go to like thrift stores or walk around the street and constantly kind of training that eye for me. I think that is a big ritual. I'll try to do that every like couple weeks, just being like, what can I get inspiration from that aren't jewelry pieces, that are like everyday things, even if it's just like texture or color or a shape of a bag, and use it in like my necklaces or my bracelets. And so I try to do that maybe every 2 to 3 weeks. And for me, I feel like that's really what's helped me get out of that kind of creative rut where I just am not feeling creative or myself at all for like a month or two. So that's really helped me. I've been doing that a lot, I think, for the past year now. And I would say
that's really good advice.
Yeah, I think it's important because a lot of my friends, like we all kind of, just any artist, you always get in your head. You always are just like, it's a lot trying to use, those creative juices all the time. And so for me, yeah, that's always helped me kind of with that artist burnout.
Yeah. I'm going to take that advice for myself too. Okay. And then lastly, if you could go back and give your younger self advice at the start of your career or at the start of 67 Jewelry, what would you say about navigating creative work and trusting your instincts?
I think I would tell myself and any young artist to just put out as much work as possible and see what people gravitate to. And, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think as artists, you're always a perfectionist in some type of way. And I think if you are constantly creating new work, and it doesn't even have to be, photography and it's all photography, but like, I think if you're constantly creating paintings, photography, zines, like graphic design, I think put all of that out there into the world and just see what sticks. And really, I think over time, you'll hone into whatever craft works the best for you. But I think it's so important to just explore all different types of mediums of art.
Yeah. God, thank you. Honestly, I feel inspired after that now. I'm like, that's so helpful because I too, like as a creative, am a perfectionist. And I'm like, well, I don't know if it's like just right, but that's such like great, inspiring advice. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This was so much fun getting to talk with you. I'm so happy to finally get to know the story behind like my new favorite jewelry brand. So I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I enjoyed this.